Chris Heitzig was a student of mine at Park Center. He was in the first graduating class. I taught for 37 years in the Osceola School District, 30 of those years at Park Center Senior High School. And the last 10, I was the diploma coordinator there, and I was an NYP coordinator for a couple of those years as well. And Chris was in our first graduating class with full diploma students, and he did earn his IB diploma. Let's hear it for Chris. He has always been open to coming back to Park Center over the years to talk, and he was always one of those kids who go, okay, we'll just get Chris, put him on a chair, he'll talk for as long as you need, and just get the kids enthused about it because he's very enthusiastic. We recently did a college or university fair for IB to the Minnesota private colleges, among them being Bethel, and the people I talked to from St. John, St. Ben's knew him by name, knew him. Oh, Chris Heitzig, yeah, I know Chris. So he is a guy who you don't forget, and he is a person that has an influence wherever he goes. I'll just kind of fill you in on a couple of things about him. He has graduated summa cum laude in economics from St. John's in 2015. He last year volunteered at St. Benedict's Prep in Newark, New Jersey. It was part of the 60 Minutes profile. So if you saw that thing on 60 Minutes, you actually saw Chris. They have video in the 60 Minutes of him teaching in the class. I was kind of like, oh, I know that guy. So he's actually one of those pictures. He, this last year, started his own educational services company called Northwest Classes that matches tutors with students with needs ranging from ACT test prep to individual subject tutoring. And this fall, he is attending Oxford University, yes, the one in England, where he's been accepted into a PhD program to earn his PhD in economics. So it is with great pleasure, one of the good ones, as they say, one of my favorites, Chris Heitzig, is going to introduce our
I expect friendship games by the end of the day, by the way. The summer before my senior year in high school, I devoted significant time to creating a website that my fellow IB students and I could use to ace our tests. We'd be able to upload assignments, notes, and cheat sheets. You see, back in my day, we'd spend more time trying to find shortcuts than actually studying for the exams. Can I get a round of applause? When I was designing the website, I wanted to choose a background image that encapsulated what it meant to be an IB student. So I chose a cartoon that showed a feeble student trembling under the weight of his tremendous backpack, which had the world sticking out of the top. It made sense. IB students have tremendous responsibility, too much homework, too many external assessments, too many internal assessments, nocturnal assessments that we might as well call them eternal assessments. It made sense. IB students have the weight of the world on their shoulders. For this reason, I felt called to serve the world in some way after graduating from St. John's. My service came in the form of teaching at an inner-city school in one of the most dangerous, impoverished communities in the U.S., Newark, New Jersey. 70% of the students at my school had only one parent at home. Some didn't have a home at all, instead sleeping in a sibling's car, showering wherever they could. One of my students once pointed at an emaciated face in a mugshot and said, "That's my dad. He's locked up." Many of my students' academic problems weren't academic at all. Surely there was a way to improve education in Newark and cities like it. I began looking for a solution. Which countries scored the highest in international assessments? What did their education systems look like? Finland caught my eye, scoring higher than any other country. What did it do differently? For starters, Finland required its teachers to have at least a master's degree and 120 lessons under their belt before they entered the classroom. By comparison, there are far less rigorous standards in the U.S., where teachers in most states can teach with a bachelor's degree and fewer than 10 weeks of student teaching. The standards are so low that they let me, of all people, be a teacher. But then I realized what I had done. When faced with a pressing problem, I looked to the world, not elsewhere in the U.S., for a solution. It was then that I realized that the background image for my IB website was even more fitting than I thought. The world was sprouting from the student's backpack not simply because he was weighed down, but because the world never left him. After taking the IB program, it's impossible to not view issues from a global perspective. Yes, the IB program teaches us that we all have a responsibility to be critical, conscientious thinkers. But more importantly, it shows us that we share the world with hundreds of other countries and a lot of disputed territories, and we cannot and should not limit ourselves to just one. IB students carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, and the world is always with them. This realization shifted my life course dramatically. I accepted a graduate school placement at a foreign school, Oxford. In addition, I started an educational services company, as John mentioned, called Northwest Classes, hoping to inspire students from an early age to view issues from a global perspective, offer ACT prep to high school students, and assist floundering, fledgling IB students find their way to a 45, or at least a 24. God willing, I'm only just discovering what it means to have the world always with me. What does it mean to you? What does it mean that the world will always be with you? Monologist and playwright Kevin Kling grew up in Ostia, Minnesota, and graduated from Gustavus Adolphus College. He has performed his plays in Sweden, Sydney and Perth, Australia, Edinburgh, Scotland, and in the Czech Republic. His autobiographical piece, Home and Away, premiered at the Seattle Rep and moved to Second Stage Theater off Broadway, where it received a Drama Desk Award nomination. His plays have been produced at the Guthrie and numerous regional theaters throughout the country. He has received fellowships from the National Endowment for the Arts, the McKnight Foundation, the Minnesota State's Arts Board, the Bush Foundation, the Jerome Foundation, many foundations, you've got a good base. He is a McDowell Fellow and has received the Whiting Award, the A.P. Anderson Award, the VSA Genie, and the Eric Peterson Award. Kevin was officially appointed the Minneapolis Story Laureate by Mayor R.T. Ryback in 2014. He appears often at the National Storytelling Festival in Jonesboro, Tennessee, is a commentator for the National Public Radio's All Things Considered, and has authored 5 books published by Borealis Books. He has produced 6 storytelling CDs. I'm pleased to introduce Kevin Kling.
Hi, everybody. We're getting set up here, and now we're ready to roll. So, it is really an honor to be here. Last time I was in this room, it was full of junior high kids for a writing workshop. So the energy was